Today I'm going to show you a smoothie that is actually going to taste as good as it makes you feel, which is difficult when you try to do green drinks. A lot of them taste very green and you can kind of choke them down. So it doesn't have to be yucky medicine when you're eating food that's really good for you. So I'm going to show you how to make a honeydew melon based smoothie. Honeydew melon is really, really creamy. Most people never think to freeze it. It's very simple. All you do is chop up the melon like you would to eat it, just into little cubes. I stick it in a little Ziploc baggie in the freezer. Freeze it for a few hours or overnight, and then it's ready to go for a smoothie. Another unusual ingredient I like to use in smoothies is Fuji apples. The flavor of a Fuji is fantastic, and I just cut them up into little pieces like this, stick them in either a little container or a baggie, and freeze them. Again, just a few hours or overnight if you want to make sure they're frozen solid. So what we're going to start with is an alternative to milk. There's several nowadays. A lot of people know soy milk, and I like to use an unsweetened soy milk if I'm going to use it, but more and more it's coming out that it's not that healthy to eat a lot of refined soy products. So it's great to have it maybe once or twice a week, but if you plan on doing smoothies every day, I would try out some alternatives other than soy. Some other great ones, coconut milk is very creamy, and this type of coconut milk is actually for drinking and cooking, so it's not nearly as fatty as the traditional Thai coconut milk you get in a can for cooking. That stuff is like a coconut version of lard. This is actually like 50 calories and 4 or 5 grams of fat for a whole glass. And in a smoothie you don't need to use a whole glass worth, so it's really negligible what it adds. Rice milk is another option for smoothies, but it's a little watery and it's a little higher starch. So if you're trying to do low carb, low sugar, I would mix it with something creamy. So today I'm going to use half and half coconut milk and rice milk to give it some creaminess and keep it really light and fresh. Our secret ingredient, and this totally can remain a secret if you're serving it to someone else, is kale. The kale is going to give you, raw kale gives you a ton of fresh nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and fiber, and you don't taste it if it's mixed with chocolate. So let's get to work. I'm going to start first with just a half cup of liquid, so 1/4 cup each. This is unsweetened vanilla coconut milk. And I buy the unsweetened because I like to use stevia, which is a natural alternative to sweeteners. There's no sugar in it, there's also no chemicals in it, so you don't get the toxic side effects that you would using NutraSweet or Splenda, or one of those chemical things that was created in a lab. I also like to add some little supplements to it, since food is your body's best way of getting medicine. This is a fiber pill that you can get at the store, glucomannan. This little white pill, totally flavorless, but this amount expands to 11 times its volume of fiber when it's mixed with fluids. So it's going to bind everything together, make it really thick and creamy, slows down the absorption of sugars in your body, so you feel satisfied longer, and you're not going to have that crash like you would if you just drank a glass of juice. You might get sleepy later or suddenly really hungry. This is acidophilus, which is great for the whole body. We'll talk more about that at some other time. Anyway, so we just added that. I'm going to go ahead and sweeten. And this is the stevia that I use. It's just a clear liquid. If you don't like the taste of stevia, we'll do 4 drops. I've found that most people who say they think it tastes like artificial sweetener are using too much of it. So just use the smallest amount and you should be good. A couple drops is going to make it really sweet. So with kale, easy thing to do. Oh, normally you just pull the stem out. A lot of the time it does just slide out, but if it doesn't, just tear it. You don't have to be cutting things. So that's that. Now we're going to add the fruit. This is about half an apple. And then for the honeydew, the one drawback of honeydew, and the reason I want to demonstrate this, it's very juicy. So when you freeze it, it tends to stick together in this block, which might seem hard to use. All you have to do is run it under some water. Comes apart. That's just going to wash out the excess juice. It's kind of like if you let ice cubes melt in a bowl and then refroze them, they'd be stuck to the bottom. So once you just rinse it off, it breaks up perfectly. So this is about 3/4 of a cup. Just do it by feel. That's the proportions of my blender. Just a little liquid at the bottom. We can add a little more later, and then that up there. So if you want to add a little protein, because coconut milk and rice milk are both pretty low in protein, just do about a tablespoon or so of protein powder. You might find another protein powder you like better. It's great, just use whatever you like. The try to go with whole food sources, like hemp is a superfood, and a lot of those refined protein powders at the store, your body has a harder time really getting the nutrients out of that. So if you have a really good blender, it's got a tamper. What this does, it allows you to make a thicker smoothie that's kind of like soft serve. So you get to kind of mash the ingredients down as they're going through to make sure that the big chunks are mixed throughout. It's a little harder to make a thick smoothie with a kind of cheap blender where there's no tamper. So you can kind of use whatever you need to at home to make that happen. It's gonna get loud for a second. Thicker than what you want, but that's because there's more to come. So that's like for the ultra advanced edition. If you're already eating super healthy food and you've grown to get used to the taste of green stuff, really everything is an acquired taste. You acquire the taste of peanuts and beer and that kind of thing. You acquire the taste of healthy foods too. So if you're just starting out with eating healthy, that's too much right now. So let's make it taste good. So I'm just going to take about a tablespoon worth of soy milk powder. They also make a fantastic rice milk powder, which I would recommend more. This is just what I have sitting around the house. So I'm going to do about a tablespoon of, I like dark cocoa. This is special dark Hershey's. You can also get any Dutch cocoa powder. They alkalize it so it takes the sourness out and just gives it a really rich chocolatey taste that you don't get with regular cocoa. I'm going to do about 6 drops of stevia. And I'm going to add just a tiny bit of hot water to dissolve this. If you're using a cheaper blender, which we know is what most of us have at home, the power to pulverize a little powder isn't that strong. So if you just add a spoon of cocoa in there, you might get like a powdery, gritty taste that just is going to detract from the flavor. So dissolve your cocoa in just a little bit of water. And I'm going to toss in a little agave too. Agave is a natural sweetener that comes from cactus. It's what tequila comes from too, actually. It's about a teaspoon. And since it's got the stevia, having a teaspoon of agave is really like a tablespoon of agave when it comes to being mixed with the stevia for sweetness. So take out the tamper, and just pour this right in the top. See what happens. And then we're gonna set it on again. And that little bit of extra liquid is gonna really mix with the super thick smoothie and get the texture that you're looking for. So that's it. This is going to pack a lot more nutrients into it than you would get just drinking a regular fruit smoothie, and it tastes really, really good. So the next time you want chocolate, try a green drink with some chocolate in it, and let me know how you feel. It's a pretty awesome feeling, combining the little chocolate feeling with the feeling of fresh greens. It's just a big rush of energy, and is great before a long workout. Enjoy!